Well, all right. Where have I been, ladies and gentlemen? Where have I been? All right, everybody, just take a moment, a quick moment. Let me see if I'm being heard out here in the world. Hold on one moment. If you can hear me, hit a thumbs up. If you can't, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. 1 second, 1 second. All right. Let me see. Hit a 1 if you can hear me. Hit a 1 if you can hear me. Hey, okay, let's try it. We're going to see what's going on here. I'm going to see if I can get my microphone on board. Something is happening. Am I mute or not? I don't know. Let me check some things. Looks like some things are giving me a tough time. Hold on. Wait a minute. Can you hear me out there? Let's see. Okay. Let's try it again. How about now? Anybody hearing me? All right. Let's see what we got going on here. What's happening? Microphone is on. It says it's on. Can you hear me? Folks? What is going on? Let me see. Let's see. Let me add here. Let me come down here. How about here? Can you hear me yet? Let me see. Uh-oh. What is missing? Folks? Let me see. All right. I don't know if we have a delay and we have volume. What's going on? How about now? Or volume? Okay. All right. So maybe we're just having the standard technical difficulties. So good day. I hope that those of you who are out and about, you can hear me, as it has been a long while since I have jumped on to do a live. And if you're aware, depending on where you are, I normally do my lives early in the morning, at least on my side, my time. But I have just had, between the last few weeks, you name the confusion, name the, I don't know, lack of getting myself together. You just pick a topic, and I was struggling like you would not believe to get myself together. Can I tell you why? Don't know what was going on, but oh my goodness, this has been a week or two or a month, I guess, of sheer, I don't know, just one thing after another. And here's the funny part. I couldn't even tell you anything particular or specific that had me flipping and flopping and not being able to get myself together. Except it was just like all in my mind. It was all in my head. It was just jumping around doing one thing or another. But I will say this. I did have to travel a little bit, and that did create a little bit of static. I had to drive several times and over a pretty good distance. Generally for me, a 5-hour drive is not such a big deal, but I did make 2 trips that were 10-hour drives. And for whatever reason, they did take a lot out of me as far as energy. I don't know about you guys if you like to travel like that, but I have to say it was just a little bit taxing for me. So that might have had an effect. And so then when I would get myself back together where I would feel almost just drained, and don't even talk about whether or not my equipment was working properly or if I had things set up and ready to go. Generally, that was going to be all out of whack. So listen, you guys, you have to bear with me as I am trying to come back alive to get back to doing the lives. I had so many ideas. I really did. And so many thoughts about things I was going to get done. I would say I accomplished maybe 40%. So I've got a ways to go. But anyway, I am just babbling on about my own problems. But listen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, come on in. This is another chat with All for Success. The X is for me chatting and babbling on about other things, just like I just did. Sometimes I'll get off track and start to talking about all kinds of things. But in general, I'd like to welcome everyone who is aware that this is a Sussex-friendly space. That would be who? Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, his wonderful wife, Princess Meghan, Duchess of Success, and those two adorable little ones that follow along with them that are Lilibet and the wonderful cutie pie Archie, of course, right? So as we get ready to do a little bit of our fun moments of enjoying chit-chatting and talking about the different things that they may have been talking about this weekend or over the past few weeks, I want you guys to also grab your coffees if you want to have coffee this late in the day, or get yourself another drink, anything that'll keep you light on your feet, and enjoy listening to a little bit of what we have going on. So just for a moment, I'm going to see if I can pull up a few pieces of information as we keep our chat going. Okay? So, stand by one big second. I got a little bit of feedback coming through on my mic here, but we're going to try not to let that stop the show. Okay. So, with that being said, coffee, it is a little late for coffee, but have some if you like. With that being said, what I wanted to do is also tell you guys and welcome you guys to the opportunity to continue to let's see, to continue to exercise and keep yourselves fit, because we definitely have to make sure we keep doing that. Okay? Let me know sometimes in the chat if you're doing any type of exercise or fitness program. I would love to share all of those thoughts and ideas with everyone here. Right? Because I think it's fun to encourage each other to try to do that. And I have to say, as I mentioned in my travels, it is nice to get in a little bit of exercise on the side, even while you're traveling. Try to keep that up. So, look, okay, with all that aside, what are we talking about here? What is going on in the world of Sussex, even though I have been out of it a while? Well, first and foremost, folks, I have been to the website. I've been trying to order some of the items that I would like to order to try from the Duchess of Sussex asever products. Now, there are some favorites that I am looking for. I'm going to get several bottles of wine and give them as gift. I also am looking forward to getting some of the honey. And one of the things that I saw that was on there is the apricot spread. That looks delicious. So I'm not a super fan of apricots. Generally, if I'm buying things myself, I very, very seldom will go and purchase myself the apricot flavor. But I don't have anything against apricots, and I hear that they are very healthy to eat. So I encourage all of you to get out there and get some apricots yourself, especially that apricot spread that she has. So I want to see what that's like. So what I'm doing is checking the website constantly to look for the moment that the sold out sign is removed. And I'm placing my forward order in the queue to be ready. So if all of you are doing the same things, we're going to be fighting for those same items. But I am looking forward to having the opportunity to try for some of those delicious um, treats that she has in her wonderful product list. So I'm excited, and I am so excited that the wine came out, and I know many of you are as well. And we want to chat about, let's talk really quickly about the reaction. Can anyone tell me what they think the reaction was from UK side of the UK side of the world, the media? Do you think they had a positive reaction to the releasing of her wine, or do you think that the reaction was automatically negative? Anyone? Anyone? Well, of course, it was negative, right? There were issues on their different shows about how much it cost, how many people were going to complain about it. There were people who were going to speak about the fact that she didn't really make it herself. You know, it's just the wine that she put her label on, as if any wine is anything else. I mean, there are very few cases where the actual winemaker is extracting the grapes themselves. There are a few wineries that do that if they're family owned, but not a lot. So they had that problem. They had that complaint. Oh, they thought it was going to taste horrible, and of course, no one was going to be interested. So all of these things were the beginnings of what they have to put out prior to her product actually making it into the public eye. They have to put all that negative news out first, right? That there's going to be something wrong with it and there's going to be something bad about it. So we need to wipe the whole field with negative energy first, right? And you do know that, of course, when I speak about the Sussex family, I'm always talking from the point of view of what is it that the media is usually trying to do. And I like to give you my insight on why I think these things are happening. Okay? So, yeah, so there was going to be a problem with it. And of course, whatever it is, it's something wrong with it. It's Megan, by the way. And we need to cover the airwaves with as much negativity as possible. Right? And of course, they were very fast at doing that. The problem is that they always keep running into a problem that everyone except for their own sycophants generally may not know all of the other details as to why we're supposed to wake up with an anger towards Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. I said her name, the Duchess of Sussex. Why we're supposed to be instantly angry and dislike her products. So for those who just come to the table and they just try something blindly, in general, it's been well received. So I snatched a couple of comments that were being given. So let's see if these will play for you.
It's very light and crispy. It's perfect for like a beach day. Give me some sun and it's delicious. It's really good.
Oh, it's good. I think this is perfect, like, get a drink with a coworker or a friend.
It's brunch time. Oh, I like it. I will drink this. Cheers.
It's very light and crispy. It's perfect for like a beach day. Give me some sun and it's delicious. It's really good.
Oh, it's good. I think this is perfect, like, get a drink with a coworker or a friend.
It's brunch time.
I hope that that sound was at least at a level that you could hear some of it. When I make these exchanges every now and then, I lose a little bit of sound quality. But the overall point is that these folks who made their comments, generally, they were pleased with the taste and the flavors. They were generally positive in their review. And these people who were giving their commentary were professionals who are wine tasters, which is really, really nice. It was very, very positive. So that is the type of thing happening that will, of course, send all the naysayers um, almost to a early, what do you call it? Like they might have some kind of a fit because they are hoping that they can have something negative to say. Always, as always. So we're going to remind everybody, at least if we're trying our best to do planting and do our own type of home gardens and come up with our own type of um, workflows with fruits, vegetables, and I mean, if you want to go as far as growing grapes and making your own wine, feel free. But I think it is wonderful to plot that same course if you have a mind to. Working outside and in the garden, it is definitely relaxing and it's fulfilling to do. Not everyone loves it, but most people do enjoy it as best they can. So let's see what we got here. So I'm going to back up a little bit as I go through my little slide groups. But most of the connoisseurs of wine, they actually had a positive reaction to it. That's the key, right? That is definitely the takeaway. So we're going to say, as always, continue your fight to win. Try to stay the course and try to stay on top of what you're doing to keep pressing through. Why? Because Megan, the Duchess of Success, is doing that. And we have to also pull ourselves together, especially if you are keen on supporting that family as they go through these trials, dealing with all of the nonsense that is thrown at them. You definitely have to power up, stay the course. But for the wine's sake, people were paying attention and people were pretty positive. And that, of course, will set their teeth on edge. They will fight against it tooth and nail as far as they can. The sad thing that is happening, but it's beautiful to me, it's beautiful for me to watch all of those who are trying to tear her down as they continuously have to be redirected to see how successful she has become. You know, I love watching them have problems with it. I enjoy that. Of course, here are and they should just continue to maintain themselves in all of their family moments and stay positive. Because the more that they show their happiness, the more bitter and angry those on the other side of the world become. Because they can't get everyone to join them and get on board. They have the people in their pocket that they already have. But what they want is the rest of the world. And it's not working. Not working at all. So Harry and Meghan will continue to press forward and to do great things. And you know what? We're here to watch it. And we're here to see it. And we all want to watch them continue to bathe in that kind of glory. Now, here's something I don't know if I have a picture of one of the characters. I'm going to cursor back through my photos because I wanted, okay, I found it. It's taking me a minute to get to it. But I wanted to get back to a character in this month's show. This person's name is, who's pictured here next to the Princess of Wales, is named Natasha Archer. Now, here's another story that I hope you guys are following. I have seen many squatties discussing it and talking about it. So, here's what we're finding out, that this young lady, Natasha Archer, served as her senior private executive assistant. That is, she served as Kate Middleton's senior executive. And that she'd been working for the Princess of Wales for like 15 years. It would appear that she actually became the personal assistant in 2010. She seems to be a fairly, interesting looking young lady. But here's the thing. Here's what we're finding out about this particular character. She just recently put in her resignation. Now, in a normal world, that would not be a big deal, right? People leave jobs all the time. However, in this case, and you guys will have to clue me in on the technical online aspect of this, like technically online, why this would occur. For some reason, she had an Instagram account. Now, in general, Instagram accounts, you list all of the people that you follow, especially if you follow various people who are I call it Instagram famous, like folks who are fitness people, makeup artists, and the like. And this young lady, for some unknown reason, had an entire follow list of almost everyone in Meghan, Duchess of Sussex's realm. So not only, now if she had been following Duchess Meghan's page, I would not have been surprised. If, in fact, she periodically searched the Archwell page, that wouldn't have been a shock either, right? But the extent of follows that she maintained that were people that were actually personal associates of the Duchess of Meghan, that threw up a red flare. It made everyone question just what in God's name is going on, that your personal stylist, that Princess of Wales personal stylist, would be following so carefully and so closely everyone that Meghan knows. It didn't make any sense. So what happens when things like that happen in the world of the Sussex family? Well, the internet sleuths who are Sussex squad, when they do a deep dive and start digging, it basically supports their thought process, which every time you saw Kate Middleton appear in public, in general, it was like watching a carbon copy of something Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, had done or was wearing, or behavior in how she was trying to interact. All of a sudden, these walks through the woods with your children, which were, I guess, to emulate Harry and Meghan enjoying family time on the beach, right? These romantic looks at each other and, gazes in each other's eyes and all this other things that were so completely not typical of the Princess of Wales. Well, it would give you this impression that for this entire time, the switch was flipped, and all they did was study Meghan's movements to make a carbon copy for Kate. Now, here's the question that I'm going to give you guys, what I call the $1,000,000 question. Do you think Kate was aware of this? Like, do you think Kate knew that she was being twisted into a functioning carbon copy of the Duchess of Sussex? I mean, really, show if you're in the comments, if you have moment, just put a thumbs up if you think Kate Middleton was aware of how extensive the trend to try to make her like Meghan. Do you all think she was actually trying to do that herself? Or do you think that perhaps the stylist was given instructions to just do that? I'm wondering. What do you guys think in the chat below? Let me know. I'm dying to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, let's see who is here in the comments. Ready? All right, let's see real quick if I got somebody in my comments. Something is happening. It looks like instead of showing comments, I'm not showing comments. I don't know why, but I'm going to try. What is going on? What's going on? I'm trying to show my banners and I can't. But anyway, I can tell you who I see. Thank you so much, Joyce Anderson. I see you here in the comments. I am hoping my comments are showing publicly, but with my computer these days, I have no idea. But I'm trying my best to get my comments to show. It's acting really bizarre. Really bizarre. Just things happening here that I have no idea what's going on. Thank you so much for being here. Joyce Anderson, good Sunday evening to you as well. I know I'm late, but we're going to try to hang out here just for a few minutes because I know if you're where I am or if you're on the East Coast, you're probably trying to get yourself ready for tomorrow. Thank you so much, Steph C. Thank you for being here. Oh, she's got a beautiful hand wave. I love it. It's great to see you here as well. Thank you so much for being here. You guys don't know what it feels like to see and have your support. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness, Connie Balmer is also here. Thank you so much for being and stopping by. I hope I didn't take you guys away from your wonderful schedules. And I do appreciate the fact that you have time to join in and listen to me blather on about various things going on. And even though I'm a little late probably to the party, but I have begun to notice some of the crazy things going on. So guys, thank you so much for being here. But anywho, back to that wonderful Natasha Archer. I'm divided in how I think, how I feel. A part of me believes that Kate Middleton is mildly aware of what is being instructed in various ways and information that she may be given. She may, in fact, have been blindsided in a way. Now, here's the question, and we'll have to find this out a little bit later. We'll have to find out what might be the reason for the current movement or resignation. Like, we will have to find out, wonder if there was any animosity in the resignation or if there is something else happening behind the curtain. Now, here's the second thing that might lead to giving these questions. And you super savvy internet personnel will have to tell me. This person was a user of Instagram, right? So in Instagram, my question would be, have we always known publicly who this stylist was? And has it always been known who her follow list may have been? Right? Like, I know, I'm kind of thinking it through like Sherlock Holmes. I'm trying to recall. I know people used to comment a lot about Kate Middleton's style because it was very let's say for us in the US, it had a very 1960s feel to it, right? Even the clothes that were being sent to her often had a 1960s feeling. So she wasn't in like modern day attire in most cases. Now, of course, because the royals dress a specific way, for example, the hats or what they call the fascinators and things of that nature, it would make them look dated anyway. But I was just curious. Did we know who that stylist was maybe several years ago? I don't recall a lot of commentary about who her stylist was, nor do I recall any commentary specifically about that person's social media presence. Now, my curiosity is here's the next thing, and the curiosity is, how did this information become public about her Instagram follow list? Did she make it public? Was her Instagram being monitored or, let's say, managed by the royal family? Did they make it public when she resigned? What is this? What is this revelation trying to tell us? Or what is it indicating? Okay, so ladies, I know, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, I am kind of standing back here in the corner. I'm keeping a little bit quiet because I'm trying to figure out and I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Something is off, but I can't quite put my finger on it, right? Because trying to become Meghan of Sussex, although from my point of view, and you all have to understand, like I always tell you guys, I'm very pseudo, I would say I'm very, very from the church, but a little spiritual. It kind of seeps in there. I know that people who are envious of others typically will imitate them, right? We know the source of that kind of behavior. Imitate what you cannot create, right? And if you all are on point, you kind of understand where I'm coming from with that comment. The people who cannot create will often imitate. So if that's what she wanted to do, if she was trying to become Meghan, then it would have been better for her to have remained friends with Meghan. And then she could have become Meghan slowly, and people wouldn't have even questioned it. Right? Bizarre. But I want you all to keep that thought in mind and give me some ideas. Let me think. Because I'm wondering, who was trying to make the poor Princess of Wales a replicant of the Duchess of Sussex? Who was behind doing that? Because it would seem that early in the game, people would have said, no, Kate, don't do that. Stay yourself, remain yourself, be more of you. At least that would have been my advice. Okay? I'm just saying. Oh, okay. I see Connie Balmer says Kate was definitely aware. Ah, okay. Okay, that's a possibility. Steph C. What if Kate's account was using the assistant's name? Oh, I had not thought of that. Okay. Okay, Joyce Anderson is saying, I believe that Baby Brain is a willing participant. She was always so giddy when she imitated Meghan. She was definitely aware. Oh my goodness. My goodness. I'm going to have to think about that. I've got it, guys. Guys. Joyce Anderson says, let's see, her stylist has dressed Mumbles in weird clothes, look like Chris. Wait, you know what? You need to quit. You need to quit. Quit. I gave her the 60s and Connie Balmer backed her up to the 1940s. Well, there was a show called The Secretary from the 1940s, and you know what? I believe you might be correct. I hate to say it, Connie Balmer. I used to watch this show when I was a kid. 1940s, you might be right on. The Secretary. I remember that show. The Secretary and they were crazy shows, but the dress, I Love Lucy, all that. But you all know y'all are wrong. Y'all are totally wrong. But I've got it. Now okay. I got to recalibrate now. Because if her resignation is what caused the information to become public simply because someone else, well, okay, someone else may have had your what do you call it, your actual persona, and they were using, okay, let me think on that. Okay, I'm gonna think on that a while, y'all. I'm gonna have to ruminate on that one. But I would not be shocked. And thus, that might have made the copying less authentic because the stylist was more interested in the old styles, probably. Amazing. Amazing. Joyce Anderson also tells us Willie Boy sent Mumbles to learn to make speeches like Megan, but he was disappointed and forgot about it. You know, look, look at this. Let me tell you something. Now, I like being on this live because I was working a little bit in the audio book realm, right? And I probably will do more of that perhaps as time goes on and my schedule frees up more. I enjoy audio. That's one of those things that I enjoy. I understand when I am listening to people on various podcasts or on radio programs and things like that. Now there are a lot of people in the business. But it is not as simple, and I'm not trying to toot my horn or I don't want to get myself bigger than life. There is a huge difference between me playing around on a live podcast, or if you want to call it a live chat. It's just me and I'm talking into a microphone. That is something completely different from a person being in a studio, talking in front of a camera, and speaking into a mic. And then that is lifetimes, a leap away from a trained, paid actor. You know, it is so much happening on an actual television movie set that even I fooled around and played an extra in a film or two. And what is happening in that realm, in the entire room, what's going on, and all of the minor things that people have to pay attention to in order to produce a film or to produce any type of audio video production that will make you less likely to cringe. It is enormous. It's an enormous set of skills that they don't come just because just because you sat down and plopped down on a stage in front of someone with a camera. And that is why it became comical to many people. It became kind of not a running joke, but that's why people used to make fun of early YouTube, because they felt that a lot of people in YouTube initially thought without any type of background they could just, jump up in front of a video camera and record themselves, and thus they had a film or a movie, right? The two things, you can do that and it's fun and you can produce these things, it's great, but those two things are very different things. And thus Kate Middleton, not a bad person, I'm sure, great gal, but when it comes to trying to stand next to an actress and be able to give off that same type of air of confidence and speaking in public, that's not easy. So, I mean, my heart goes out to her for attempting to try to do it at that level. With practice, she could get there. But it was kind of unfair to put her in that position. Of course, who is that? That is my opinion of that. Because, again, the entire level of stunts that these people are pulling to try and have that couple become a version of the more popular couple, while at the same time trying to tell the world that this couple is not important or not popular. They're trying to make you believe, oh, well, they're not popular, so here, look at this couple because they are popular. And it's like, who do you think you're kidding? Just who do you think you're fooling? Their presence alone is enormous, right? So, okay. Hey, guys, look, with that being said, what I'm going to do, you've got me now, I got to do more homework. I got to investigate that thought process because I would have never considered the things you all just mentioned. So now we got to wait a little bit and we got to dig. Now, what I am hoping, I don't know if I put it on here. I probably didn't. Maybe I will later. But what I do want to tell you guys is, at first, I was thinking in a very weird spot. And I'm going to tell you what I was thinking, although the things that perhaps the Prince of Wales, that would be Prince William, might be into may be questionable. My question was he somehow coveting, in a sense, his brother's wife, and thus trying to make his wife into a version of Prince Harry's wife? Now, I know that to me is sick. It is. It's a weird kind of thing to do, but I really did begin to wonder that. Because, I've met, I hate to say it on a lighter note, but I have met couples in situations like that, where a friend / best friend all of a sudden despises his own spouse because he somehow wishes his spouse was like his best friend's wife. Now that's a storyline from a lot of movies. It's a creepy storyline from a lot of movies. But I was giving that type of thought process. Why? Because that's an old story, right? You keep coveting what you see someone else has, and thus you do whatever you can to try and recreate it in your own world. So with that being said, folks, I wanted to tell you all a joke before I do one of my last lines. I wanted to tell you all a joke about someone trying to appear like someone else. But it involves me to refer to an old show. I don't know if you all remember a show called The 5 Heartbeats. If you do, I hope you do. And there's a line in the 5 Heartbeats where the two people are somewhat at odds because the one guy's kind of a star in the group. He's the singer, he's very popular, and he feels that he is the reason that the group is as famous as it is. And he makes a comment to the other member of the group that no one is actually interested in seeing him. So I don't know if you all are familiar with that, but that is kind of where this couple in the UK is in relationship to Harry and Meghan under general circumstances, right? Under general circumstances, people want to see and are enamored by Prince Harry and Princess Meghan, or the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. People are entertained by them. They're excited about them. They want to know more about them because of who they are. And so, just like in that 5 Heartbeats, the people, he is saying the people didn't come to see you, right? I don't know if you all remember that. I'm going to see if I can, hold on, let me see if I can find a clip of it. Let's see, stand by. Let me see if I can find it.
Selling the records. They coming to see me.
They coming to see the Temptations.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. You selling the records.
Okay, that was just a short clip. I don't know if that made any sense, but that was the scene from that clip. Okay, and it's pretty funny for most people. So that's a famous line about people who think that they are the center of the story. Okay. But we're going to have to stand by and see. But anyway, folks, thank you guys for coming here. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm drifting. I drifted. Thank you guys so, so much for spending your time here with me. And I promise I wasn't going to keep you all day and all night. So listen, let's do a little bit of a magic twinkle, and I'll do a short scripture for you to entertain you. We always talk about, I like to quote a scripture, something from my background. No, I am not trying to warp you into any type of religion. I am not trying to take over your mind, and nor am I trying to create a cult. Okay, so I hope you enjoy some of the things that I might point out or I find scripturally and the background, because it generally these are the type of things that make me think about what is happening, not just with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but in the entire world around us. By the way, somewhere during this week, I'm going to probably do a quick upload, and I want to show you all. I was on a trip this week, and I happened to be in the area where the Texas floods were. We just happened to be down there near the area called San Antonio. And I'm going to show you some of the things that we ran through while we were down there. Fortunately, we were all fine, fortunately. But we did pass through and by areas that were very hard hit. So I'll show you a little bit more about that as the week goes on. Many people are just kind of getting themselves back together for that. But with that being said, like I said, with that in mind, sometimes there are scripture for things that are appropriate to many things going on in the world. So, for example, the hidden attack will always be to take what you have. The opposition will always want or desire what is yours, or in this case, what is you. So you have to look for that constant, because often that is what is behind almost all of the negative or opposing behavior directed towards people. So in Luke, Jesus is teaching about coveting. He's talking about that a lot in Luke, and he's emphasizing that a person's life is not defined by material possessions. Now, he's stating that the excessive desire for wealth or what belongs to others can lead to unhappiness and spiritual harm. Now, I always pause here, and I want to always love this like a Sunday school lesson. What this is not discussing is that you cannot wish to achieve in your own right. A lot of people sometimes conflate, and by conflate I mean they put together two thoughts that really are not the same thought. For example, him saying excessive desire for wealth and what belongs to others. That doesn't equal, it's not the same as you having an interest in getting ahead in life, doing well, supporting your family, and achieving whatever goals you set for yourself. That's a different concept. Those two things are not the same. Because in the past, many people would lock themselves in negative situations under the belief that they shouldn't ever try to achieve more. That them pursuing their own goals was considered greed. That's not the same thing. I just want to point that out. At least that's how I want to make sure I transmit it. So he warns against the dangers of covetousness, highlighting that the truth fulfillment comes from God. Now this, of course, is very religious, and not from accumulating things. So just keep that in mind, that sometimes your fulfillment is going to come from within. sometimes within, or from what's happening in your life, not so much from things. Now, in Ephesians, the 5th chapter, it's saying that for you may be sure of this, that everyone, and the reason that they put these things together, they're talking about sexual immorality and being impure and who is covetous, and that is an idolater. They just lump it all together. They're saying that if you have all these issues, you can't control what you want, you're always, going after something that belongs to someone else, or you're always kind of falling into whatever desire that you have at any time without any type of discipline. There's warning you that, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Christ and God, you have a hard time. You're not going to inherit that, right? And they're saying, let no one deceive you with empty words, for because of these things, the wrath of God comes upon the sons of disobedience. Now, you all really, if you're interested, if you have any interest, this is a wonderful study, because in many of our Bible studies, the interest given was the fact that it said that the wrath was going to fall upon the sons of disobedience rather than the person that was being disobedient. That is an interesting study biblically, but it's still falls within the same thought process that, you just can't go around grabbing, snatching, taking, harming other people to get whatever it is you want or feel like you want to have, like just eating greedily, right? And just taking everything that's in your path. That is a problem. And what the Bible was trying to say in some of these scriptures is, since that is a problem, it is going to lead to future problems, okay, even in your own life. So I just wanted to leave you all with that thought, leave you with a couple of those thoughts. I want to tell you guys thank you again so much for joining me in the chat. And I'm going to try to get my act together and get these chats better organized, get my timeline back, get my schedule back, and see if I can get myself together. And I want to thank you all again for being here. Appreciate it so much. So give yourselves a round of applause.